Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at, of course, the unlimited SwordCraft discard sword. It is still very popular. I mean, Spartacus does a wonderful job of allowing you to win games by basically just playing your own hand and not really having to worry too much about what your opponent does. As long as you can, of course, develop quicker than them, you will pretty much win as many games as possible. Realistically, you should be able to easily pull off a 60% win rate with this deck if, of course, you don't end up on a massive losing streak, which can happen, but overall I found this deck to be extremely consistent, extremely easy to pull off, and definitely one of the better decks for Unlimited. So we're going to get right into it and check it out. So kicking off the, of course, first game here, we're up against a Rune. No real surprise. Again, Rune very popular. If you watched my other Unlimited videos recently, definitely one of the most common matches you will come up against in Unlimited. So I wish it could surprise me a little bit, but it really doesn't. And of course, Grand Auction is a nice way to start off, getting rid of a card, basically gaining 2 back. It's not a bad way to start off. This match, of course, not perfect. I probably could have played slightly better. I decided to go for Grand Auction again, this time getting rid of Angel and Weaponry. You don't really need it anyway, so it's mainly just a draw engine card and develop your hand more. And that works well, because Altered Fate is now in our hand as well, so we've got at least stuff to work with. Since I don't have a decent play for turn 3, I decided to go for Liard, since putting him on the board at least gives me something in case they start playing cards. Not that I would expect them to start playing cards. And they don't really do too much, so we pretty much had a free turn 4 again, and we just develop more and more until we're pretty happy with the board. That's all we really have to do. So our turn 6 is going to be kind of our clincher. If we can go for our Spartacus, that'll be ideal. Then we can go turn 7, keep Altered Fate, dump the rest, and Alter Fate for turn 8. Hopefully allowing us to get very close to at least winning the game by then. Blade Mage though, they're definitely getting that in early. We should be able to wipe this board, which is actually pretty good. I was trying to look for a turn 5 play, and this one is going to do a really good job of both developing our hand and of course removing the board. Mystic Ring. Putting a Daria back, looks like they had a little too many Daria in their hand. But they definitely made the right decision. That was a really good play. If I had to go for any play, Daria is definitely the one you want. If they had an insane board flood turn, I would be absolutely screwed playing Spartacus right now. This can really be the toughest matchup if they get a good Daria turn. Fortunately, it doesn't look like they got the board flood, or if they did, they're holding it back, which for us is a really good sign. Or, I mean, it could be really bad, but I'm going to err on the side of it being good. So, Spartacus, it's a fair trade, even though we don't get his extra effect. Not that we really need it. Our hand is reasonably stocked up now. Another Daria, so they're really spending their cards now, throwing everything away to restock again, and even dumping Owl. I gotta say, that's a pretty intense line of play. So we get our Master Dealer turn. Nothing too crazy in there, so we may as well take our chance now, since this will let us wipe out the 5-5 and only leave up the 4-4, which won't be able to wipe out this board on its own, so that at least gives us hopefully the one more turn we're going to need to really pump the brakes on this deck and throw Altered Fates just to the wind. Ooh. Everything but the truth, so they definitely got that little bit of damage in, which is good for them. We do have Mentor's Teachings though, which is going to let us hopefully draw a card, and we did get Trials of Light, which is really good for the discard. And we've got just 9 cards left and didn't manage to, unfortunately, pull what I was after. I really wanted Alter Fate. That was going to be the kind of game winner here. Unfortunately, we just haven't managed to get one, so it is just going to be a Dione as a 3 kill so that we don't hopefully die next turn. And next turn we should be fine, since of course we can just play our 7-drop and win the game. But that was really difficult to get to that point. If I had got one of my other 2 Altered Fates, I would have probably been fine. It was just not going to be fast enough. Unfortunately, we pulled both Altered Fates. I probably should have set up so I'd instantly draw off that, but that still worked out pretty fine. We set ourselves up nicely to win the game. So the next match is against a Portalcraft. another deck that can be a little tricky if they get a really good swarm on, or if they set up their turn 7 play before you can kill them off. On the bright side, usually they won't kill you before turn 7, so you do have pretty decent odds of at least getting to your turn 7 play, which is always a good thing. So there is at least that bonus set up for us. And we're starting off fairly early, just throwing things wherever we can. That's going to be the aim. So getting down the Serpent of Usurpation is going to be good. He does generate more cards. That's why he's ran in this deck mostly. He's a good counter to the early game and also a really good card generator. I definitely wouldn't want to run this deck much without him. Or at least without a replacement that does equally well. And while I could have sent him in, we decided not to, since it was not worth just throwing him at the board right now. The opponent's not really going for a lot. I mean, we're looking good. We've got Mentor's Teachings again to go with this. We're going to be able to use it to its fullest advantage, and this time I decided to Altered Fate. We don't really have anything in the hand that needs to be held, so altering that hand should be fine. It should also at least whittle our deck down enough to get it to a solid point. And the opponent's kind of just going the way artifacts do. They throw a few down, remove some stuff, really about it. We've got at least Spine Blade, that should at least pick up the initial kill. Magic Deal is going to do alright as well. We're going to be able to get rid of something to get something. Spartacus, perfect. Couldn't ask for a much better draw, honestly. Turn 6 is going to look wonderful with that. Now if I didn't want Gilded Necklace in my hand, which I do because I want more cards in my hand so I have more to discard, then I probably would have went for the play. And since next turn is looking to be a pure Spartacus turn, we just gotta hope they don't kind of flood us too much here. But that looks fairly good. I think that's really reasonable. We should be able to handle it pretty perfectly, to be honest. So they're going to try and remove Spartacus, of course. You can't leave it up as much as you want to. You really shouldn't. That's really all that they're going to be able to do, at least for this turn, since turn 7 is when they would want to play a big combo play. We just gotta hope they can't get there. We're looking at a pretty promising hand so far though. If we could Alter Fate twice, we'd probably just straight up win the game. Doesn't look like that's going to end up being the case though, unless we do manage to Alter Fate on our very next draw. So they spent a good amount of resources, they've developed an okay board. It's like, now it's just, where do they go from here? What play do they make that could deal with this? So, Master Dealer, I decided to hold on to Dione since I know that I'll be able to use her on if I need it to wipe the board as best as possible against, of course, Portal, so definitely worth it to hold her. We did it up with Altered Fate though, so that's definitely going to be the play. Since we should pretty much be able to overdraw just using something like Mentor's Teachings into, say, anything really. Use Mentor's Teachings, Altered Fate, pretty much an instant win there. Considering this deck is built to draw cards. So now's our chance. So I throw the Mentor's Teachings for an extra guarantee. We end up getting Trail of Light, sorry. Perfect. And that is a victory right there, clearing them up nicely. So I haven't played a Spartacus sword deck for a reasonable amount of time, and honestly, this is a great amount of fun. I enjoyed playing it quite a bit, and it did reasonably well. Definitely a very respectable deck, and worth a shot if you haven't played Spartacus Sword before, or you are just looking for something fun to mess around with in Unlimited towards the middle to end of this month as the expansion kind of tapers out and we get ready for the next one. So if you guys did enjoy this video, I would highly recommend hitting that like button and subscribing for more content, because we're going to keep having some more to come. I do eventually want to start transitioning content. We've got some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. If you haven't watched that, that should pretty much be up by now when this video goes up. And we also are hopefully going to have some Slay the Spire content as well, since that is coming out on Switch, and I do want to play the absolute shit out of that. So if you guys enjoyed it, again, hit the like button, subscribe. Make sure to check out the deck in the description below. Till next time, guys. See ya.